Hey everybody, this is Seth keeping it real, and this is Dan Rogers, man of precision.
Hello, Seth. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for being here. So we want to get to know you guys. We're super excited about this trip coming up. So here's what we're going to do. Let me give you a plan that we have in place for you guys. Some of you guys are really advanced sellers, and some of you guys are really new. And so we want to make sure we're speaking to all of you. So today we're going to quickly go through some really important foundational principles that if you don't know them, the product research we teach is not going to make sense. We have 4 to 5 different whole complete lessons on product research and different ways you can find it. And then after that, after each session, we're going to open it up for Q&A. We're going to invite you to join us on video so you can introduce yourself, because we want you guys to start getting to know each other and getting to know us better. Well, you guys know us pretty well, but we don't know most of you very well. And that way, by the time we get to China, we already know each other well. And we're going to do everything we can to help you prepare for that. The goal of this training, and tomorrow's and the next day, is to give you a head start on product research so that when you get to Yiwu, China, you already know what you're looking for. You already have a very strong idea of the product category you're looking at. And then when we teach you how to use PPC to find new product ideas, you're right there with us. So Dan's going to start. He's going to take you through some of the really important foundational principles. Then I'm going to start talking about keywords. And then we're going to invite as many of you who are willing to jump on video with us. If you don't jump on video, you don't get to go to China. I'm joking. But we would like you to come on video because we really want to get to know you guys. But for this part, we're first going to just teach straight. And then you guys ask questions as we go. But welcome, everybody. Really excited about meeting with you guys in just a few weeks. China is an amazing country, and we have some really cool stuff in store. So Dan, the mic is yours, brother. You begin.
Thank you, Seth. And so I'll share my screen with you. So just let me know when you see the Seth. And we're going to start off with some of the basics.
I can see it.
Okay, great. So we're just going to start off with some of the basics here and then move on from here. So do you see my presentation now, Seth?
Yes, I see it, Dan. You're good.
Okay. So just some of the listing terminology and tools, and we're going to move pretty quickly with this so that you guys are prepared for this. I know we have some more advanced sellers and some newer sellers, but it is important stuff to have a good groundwork first. So we're going to talk about some of the terms like this, which can be a little bit confusing. And again, we're going to move pretty quickly. So with the listings, your listings are also called Amazon product detail pages. And you want to be able to rank that listing really highly within Amazon. And you also want to optimize that listing to convert visitors into buyers. Your listings are going to include multiple aspects, such as all of these here: your title, bullet points, images, conditions, price, buy box, list of sellers who are selling there, shipping methods, frequently bought together, your ASIN and product information, BSR, category, and then Q&A and reviews. We're going to go over there now and have a look. But with private labeling, specifically what we teach in the course, we're talking about a physical product business model that revolves around creating and selling your own version of a product under your own label. So you're actually branding that product yourself. That's what PL stands for, and private labeling. That's the end goal here. And you're going to sell that via the listing. The buy box is another really confusing point here. And it's important to note when you actually list an item on Amazon that others can click on, have one to sell, and actually apply to sell on that listing as well. And that's why we have this buy box. Basically, when someone applies to sell on that listing, say on your listing, Amazon was going to review that application and then determine whether they do have the exact item matching that detail page. But in short, the point here with the buy box is that if there's a lot of sellers on the listing, then someone has to win that buy box. Someone has to, and the reason why is if you have a lot of sellers on the listing, when a customer comes in and buys a product, one of those people listing or selling the product via the listing needs to gain that sale. And that person will win the buy box through factors such as price, their fulfillment method, and seller metrics. So that is what the buy box is in a nutshell, and I'll screen share that with you now as well. And avoiding this situation. So obviously the last thing you want is piggybackers on your listing, people using your hard-earned results of ranking that listing onto, say, page 1. The last thing you want is people taking advantage of that. So to avoid this, the biggest key to helping you avoid that situation is to make it inconvenient for people to do that. So definitely brand your products, private label. Definitely look at making unique items, look at accessorizing, look at really differentiating packaging and making unique products. That's going to make it very difficult for someone to prove to Amazon that they're selling the same thing. And obviously this is even stronger if you have a trademark. So the easy to source generic products are the ones that suffer most from piggybackers. And then over here, BSR. BSR is super important. You're going to use this through a lot of your product research coming up. And items on Amazon are ranked according to their sales volume and category. And BSR is the metric used for this. Number 1 is the bestseller in a category, and they're going to get that bestseller badge that you guys have seen. And that can even be the niche down category. So not home and kitchen, but actually all the way down within home and kitchen to ironing boards. And in terms of finding products, we're most interested in the BSR of that primary category, the home and kitchens, the sports and outdoors, the pet supplies, the top ones that you can search in, not the niche down ones. So for example, if you didn't know that this was the BSR you're most interested in is that one that's in the main primary category. Don't base research on something that's in for example, one of these niche down categories here. Then another thing that can be confusing is you have 2 bestsellers, very similar products in one area. And the reason that this can occur is because you can get that bestseller badge all the way down in that niched category. So you can see these 2 very similar competitors in home and kitchen, and yet both have the bestseller badge. And that's because they're niched down all the way in ironing boards on this side and in garment steamers on this side. And this also shows the importance of selecting your category when you actually go to list your item. But obviously that's after the research process.
One thing I'm going to share real quick, Dan.
And then keyword ranking. So keyword ranking is often actually just called ranking, and it refers to where your listing shows up or where it ranks organically when a customer types in a certain keyword. And it's based on a lot of factors, but most notably your sales and keyword indexing. So keyword indexing, this refers to when Amazon picks up a specific keyword on your listing. And remember that Amazon's algorithm's always going to take a customer search term and they're going to go look for listings that match that the best to give the customer the best experience, the best, most relevant results. So obviously a listing that has the keyword on it is going to be ranked more favorably or show up more favorably for that search term than a listing that does not have that keyword on it. Remember that Amazon will also index your listing. So once it realizes you have that keyword, it's going to index you or remember you for that keyword for next time. Secondly, Amazon's always going to favor the listings that make a lot of sales. So if when a certain keyword's typed in and your listing comes up and your listing makes the most sales as the returned result for the keyword, Amazon's always going to rank you favorably for that keyword because you sell well when you get shown up as a result for that search term. And lastly was PPC. And here we are talking about pay per click advertising. And this actually comes off the last point quite well, but we just talked about organic keyword ranking. That's going to happen over time with sales and indexing. But PPC is a fast track to getting onto page one without those other aspects. So we cover this in detail in other areas, but for now, for the research, you want to make sure you're focusing on the organic results, not the sponsored ones. So where you see a sponsored badge, as you see here, that is less important to you than the listings that are there organically. And sponsored products, as you guys have seen, those are going to be scattered throughout the results, and those are simply sellers paying to be in those positions. And then tools. So in terms of this, most of the tools we show here are free and just additional to help you with your research. You can look at Helium 10, the free Chrome extension. FBA Toolkit is a very good one for establishing sales per day from BSR. Keeper for seasonality, and then fast hand research. So you can use things like Jungle Scout Chrome extension, AMZ Scout, even Unicorn Smasher here as well. So Seth, let me know how we're doing on time, but I thought let me run through a little bit of this with you.
Dan, can you
first aspect.
Hello. Dan, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I've got you, Seth.
Okay. I don't think you could hear me before. I was trying to say something, and it was like, there was no response. I was like checking my mic. No, we're good. Guys, I just want to help you guys understand. For some of you, I know this is basic, but some of you guys are newer and some of you guys are very advanced. So we're just laying the foundation to make sure you understand the terminology. So when we do get to the advanced part, you're not lost. So bear with us if this is very simple to you. And for those of you guys who are new, feel free to chat your questions and we'll answer them after we're done. And then one more thought I wanted to share, Dan. Guys, when you go to Yiwu China, you need to already know the product category you want to sell in. If you're completely wise-eyed open to any idea, it's going to be overwhelming. You won't be able to get through all the districts in enough time because it is the largest small commodity market in the entire world. It's huge. You can't even get through all the stores. So make sure you already know this is my product category. This is my brand idea. Then you can refine it and it'll make a lot more sense and you get a lot more out of the trip. Back to you, Dan.
Awesome. Sorry, Seth. I think my speakers just turned off for a second there. So with that in mind, the thing I want to touch on here is the buy box. For those who are still a little confused about that, that is the buy box. It will determine who gains the sale when a customer checks out, and it's also the one-click checkout. If you've ever lost the buy box, you'll know this actually disappears. That is not fun. So here you will also see the have one to sell. This is where people can sell on your listing. You can always check the sellers and shipping methods and other things by clicking on that. And it's going to bring up over here your shipping methods, as well as condition and who the sellers are on this listing. If they're multiple, they'll be listed over here. And then to touch on some of the tools, the area I want to show you first of all, this is enhanced brand content for brand registered sellers, as a lot of you guys will know. And below here, there's always the section on a listing, product information. You can check sizes and weights here when doing your research. Remember, those FBA fees are important. And then you also have the BSR in the primary category. You can see this is doing very well, 154. So the first thing to note we can quickly do here is if we actually take that amount and put that into a tool called FBA Toolkit, that is actually going to help us. If we now look for, where is this category? Over here. So if we drop this in here, we're actually going to be able to get a daily sales amount. So you can see here, 21 is the average sales per day currently for this item, which is very good. So FBA Toolkit works like that. You grab your BSR from the primary category, come over here, find that same category, drop it in for the daily sales. And then we know this is selling well right now. But another very good tool to understand seasonality and how it sells over time is going to be your statistic. And this is going to be shown here. This is Keeper. It's a Chrome extension you can see plugged in up here. And it is going to show you the average BSR for a product. So this is, I believe, fairly new, but you can always see this in the green column there, the second last number from the bottom. So over 180 days or over a 6-month period, we can see the average BSR is actually 20,000, which is not as good as right now. But you have to also look at when this was introduced. And from these numbers, we can see it's June 20th of this year when it was at the highest. So keep that in mind. But in general, for more established products that have been there a little longer, you're going to be able to establish seasonality really well from this tool. And the last ones we had there was FBA Toolkit, Keeper. Then you also have your extensions. So as you guys have probably seen, you have tools like AMZ Scout. I'm not going to spend time on these because they're all similar layout, but it gives you a layout like this. It's completely free. You have Unicorn Smasher, which is not going to work on this page. It actually needs to be back one page where we have all of the products. That's where these extensions will work best. But that one is also free. You'll see it pull up here. And then, of course, you have Jungle Scout as well, which uses a very similar structure, as you can see here, with the price, sales amounts, reviews being really important. You can always check the lowest reviews and how those are selling. You can see our 9 reviews, 384 sales a month. So these are all just some shorthand tools. And then, of course, to track those markets over time, you want to use something like Amazal, which is very accurate. Then here, the one I didn't touch on is you can see the BSR pulling up on top of the listings here. And that's using the Helium 10 free extension, which you can see right here. That's also free as well. And just a nice shorthand tool. It'll also give you the niche down BSR, how many sellers, the ASIN, and then your FBA fees as well, which of course are important. But Seth, that is just my quick run through. And anything else you want me to go into here?
No, I think it's great, man. I'll jump over and do mine as well. Guys, again, we wanted to make these quick and simple. It's really important that you have this foundation. So what Dan covered is tools, BSR, some of the basic terminology you need to know. Now, what I'm going to talk about is keywords. I'm going to go very quickly. Dan, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So here we go. So why keywords matter and how they work. So first of all, understanding products will not make you succeed on Amazon, but understanding keywords can. It is more important that you understand keywords and products. Most people start with the question, what product should I sell? The wrong question. The more important question is, what are shoppers searching for? Because keywords help you understand your customer. Keywords, as I said, give you a peek into the mind of your customer. Products are about things. Keywords are about people. When you understand keywords, you're going to understand your future customer. That is why I think it's an understatement to even say that 30% of everything you need to know about Amazon is going to be based on keywords. You need keywords for finding products to sell, which Dan just demonstrated with some of those tools. All those tools he's talking about, those are all based on keywords. They're looking up keywords. They're not really looking at products because, you know, it can't physically grab a product. It's a keyword. Knowing how to differentiate your products, you learn that from keywords. Building your product listing, ranking and converting your listings, creating an effective PPC ad campaign. That ad campaign is doomed if you don't have your keywords right. So you must know your keywords. Optimizing your listings, expanding beyond Amazon. So everything you do on Amazon is going to revolve around mastering keywords. You could launch the best quality, lowest competition, highest demand product on earth and not sell a single unit on Amazon if you do not understand keywords. So why are so many Amazon sellers focused on the product instead of the customer? That's because they're looking for the perfect product to make the money. The problem is they're not thinking like the customer. They're viewing the customer as a means to an end, but the customer is the end goal, satisfying what they need because they're the one paying you the money. So for an example, why did I purchase this t-shirt on Amazon? And you can ask yourself the same question about your future customer. Maybe I did it for style. Maybe I did it for branding. Maybe I did it for convenience. But in each of these situations, notice there's a different keyword. Stylish just one dime t-shirt, just one dime t-shirt, comfortable t-shirt for men. Now, what's funny is it all ends up with the same product in the end, but each of those keywords tells you what that person was searching for. When you understand keywords, you understand your customer, or I should say your future customer. When you find out what customers are searching for, you're putting the customer first. And when you put the customer first, you end up launching products that make you lots of money. And guys, that is a huge part of building a brand. Johnny Jelly wants to buy a pair of shoes for its brand, so he searches Nike tennis shoes. Bobby McGee wants to find a pair of shoes for running, so he searches a different term, running shoes. But Lucy Pickleberry wanted to find a pair of shoes for her morning walks, so she searches walking shoes. Notice in each of these situations, they all end up with the exact same product, even though they searched different keywords. Each customer has a different specific niche down purpose, but the same product fulfilled all of those purposes. Now, how do you do that? You hunt keywords. Keywords are like little paths to the product. You need to find these paths. That's your goal. You want to find the paths to the product. One of my favorite illustrations of this is there are 20 million people who visit Austin from all over the world. Yet there's only 5 main freeways to get into Austin. And that's 20 million people is every year, everyone. That's every year, 20 million people. Only 5 ways to get into Austin. Just like freeways going into a single city, keywords are pathways to a single product. You don't want to depend on one keyword, because look at it this way. If you're about to send thousands to a supplier, what if the 35 freeway shuts down? You just lost a lot of revenue. So you need to know that there are multiple keywords all pointing to your same product. So when you go to Yiwu, if you already know, hey, I know 7 keywords that all point to the same product, it's going to give you far better knowledge and advantage than if you don't know that in advance. Right here, you can see an example of clusters. We call these clusters, or 3 market niches. Each market niche is a collection of keywords all pointing to the same product that solves a problem for multiple Amazon buyers. So just take this one for an example. The flying orange is one of my favorites. This sells really well on Amazon. The flying orange is a keyword. Edible flying orange is a keyword. Someone might search gimmick flying orange, but each of these are keywords Amazon searchers or shoppers searched, and they ended up with this product. If you're ranking for all these keywords, then you're making money if you have your profit margins built correctly. So when you start product research with keywords, it gives you an incredible advantage. Keywords go in 4 places on your listing: the title, the bullet points, the description, and the back end. That's why they matter a lot. And you can see right here the title, you can see here the bullet points, and you can see here the product description. Here you can see keywords on the back end. Keywords connect the Amazon shopper to your product listing. So for example, if Bobby McGee needs a new barbecue grill light, he's going to search barbecue grill light. And if your listing has that keyword in the title or the bullet points or the description or the back end, then all of a sudden he might find your listing. It may show up on the page of search results. Without keywords in your listing, no one can find your product in Amazon. It's kind of like marriage. You have a customer, you have a product, and the matchmaker is the keyword that brings them together. And they have a baby, and that represents the money. Keyword allows your product to rank for search terms. So ranking for a search term simply means that your product is showing up on the search page results. For example, when shoppers search barbecue grill light, they find your listing, they purchase it, and your listing begins to rank for that keyword, meaning it's showing up sooner and sooner every time they buy it after searching the keyword. That's what super URLs are for. They simulate the process of searching a keyword and following through with the buying process. To rank simply means my listing showed up in search results, and the more purchases I get, the better it ranks. So here you have an example. Someone searched Bluetooth headphones waterproof, and these 3 listings came up. That means they are ranking. And if they ranked on the first page, that means they're ranking really, really well. Keywords allow you to build super links to rank your product even faster. We talked about that. Keywords allow you to build PPC and ad campaigns. Now listen, when you guys are in Yiwu, do not underestimate the importance of the future PPC campaign you are going to run on the listing. The product you find, its margin, its differentiability is going to have a huge impact on whether PPC ad campaigns work for you or don't at all. And that is all based on the keywords. When done correctly, the keyword in your listing connects to the ad campaign that you are running on Amazon. And Amazon can find it, that listing, via the ad. They click on it, they purchase it, and as a result, you start ranking a little better for that keyword every time they purchase it. Keywords allow you to expand far beyond Amazon. If you already understand the keywords shoppers are searching for on Amazon, you already have a head start, which means you can start understanding what they're searching off of Amazon's platform. And we're talking about Facebook, e-commerce, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Jet, Walmart, eBay. That's just a few of the many examples of how you can generate more traffic based on the keyword knowledge. Guys, if you understand keywords, you have a large part of the mystery down for beginning to build your brand. Because when you understand keywords, you understand your customer. When you understand your customer, you can build something that they absolutely love. All right, I think that was the fastest training I've ever done in my life. I hope that was helpful, you guys.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring you guys onto video. You guys can see my screen the whole time? Oh, no. Oh, no, you're kidding me. I'm so sorry.
I could see it.
I think what we needed to do was to click on mine down here at the bottom, because then it pins it to the top like that. Like I clicked on yours. Okay, well, guys, let's do this. I will share the slideshow with you guys so you have it anyways, okay? So I'm going to give it to you after this, that way you can go through it. I'm going to bring you guys onto video with us. For anyone who wants to, you're free to come join us. There's the link, and we want to answer questions for you guys. So this is just an overview foundation. Tomorrow, we're going to go a lot more in depth, and Wednesday even more. And tomorrow, we're bringing in David Lopez to talk as well, and the next day, Saad, and they're going to teach you some of their favorite research strategies. But guys, what questions do you have? Anything you need from us. How can we help you? What are your biggest questions right now related to product research and getting ready for this? We are here to help. And again, you're welcome to join us in video if you like. If not, that's okay.
And do we have a chat box?
Yes, we do. It's here. I can send you the link, brother. Let me see if I can grab it for you. I just pulled it from the. Here we go, Nader. What's up? Join us. Give me 1 second, Dan, and I'll grab it for you, brother. All right. You'll want to mute it, Dan, because it's going to give you some crazy feedback. But 1 second, and I can. Okay, I'm just going to chat it to you right here in Google Hangouts, man. All right. So if you just click on that, that should take you to it. All right. What's up, Tim? What's up, Nader? How you guys doing? Good to see you, Mark. What's up, Sanjay? How are you, brother?
What's happening, guys?
Guys, how can we help you? Thanks for joining us here on video.
What's going on?
What's up, Carrie? How are you, Carrie? Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna take the first question. Okay, Carrie says, I don't have anything live yet. Does that matter at this stage? Carrie, it does not. And as I said, I know some of you guys are just starting out and some of you guys are very advanced. This is a really widespread of people. We did that intentionally when we accepted applications. That's okay. But what I encourage you to do is take everything you learned today, tomorrow, and the next day and begin researching. And try to figure out what category you want to sell. Once you understand that, then you can start niching down to actual product ideas. So that when you get to Yiwu, you can tell your sourcing assistant, hey, I would like you to take me to District 3 to find this kind of product. Or she'll just tell you, like, okay, what product category are you looking for? Well, it's going to be baby products. Okay, no problem. I'll take you here. Otherwise, because it's going to go by like that, you guys. Like, it's going to go by so quickly you won't believe it. It's overwhelming in a good way, but it is really overwhelming in Yiwu. Great question. I like that, you guys. Like, it's going to go by so quickly you won't believe it. Jesse says, if we already know what products we want to source, how would our strategy change? So what I would do, and this is what we're going to be teaching, is in Yiwu, Jesse, we're going to teach you guys how to, let's say, okay, I already have a product. It's a selfie stick. It's on Amazon. Running PPC ads on this. The impressions, the click-through rate, the CPC are going to give me, the PPC are going to give me a really good idea of complementary products to this product. In other words, when you run a manual broad search campaign or you run an automatic campaign, it's going to collect other ideas. You're going to start seeing keywords with high impressions and low cost, high ACoS, high impressions, but the keyword itself is low. It's like their $2 bid, which is a strong indication it's a newer product. You take that keyword, you go to Amazon.com, you search it, and you go, oh my goodness, there's no one selling this exact product. People are searching for it. This way, instead of doing a B2 product like, oh, someone else is selling, I'll just make mine a little better, you're actually either launching a new product or a complementary product to the one you're already doing. So the ads that you're already running on your product, Jesse, you can use those to find complementary products to build out your bundle. PPC is the most effective research tool for finding products to sell on Amazon. Great question, man. You want to take the next one, Dan?
Oh.
Yes, sure.
Great question, man. Go ahead, guys. Want to take the next one, Dan?
Oh, I have a question. This is Tim. Based on what you just said, using PPC for product research, can you create a ghost listing like that and like a fake PPC ad, and then to get some of those ideas?
I know a guy who sent in a 2x4. I know it's a little crazy, but he chopped up a little 2x4 and he sent it to Amazon. And he made his listing as ugly as possible and hopes that no one would buy it. That's a little extreme because if someone buys it, they're going to be pretty upset. Your account might get in trouble. But you do have to send a product in to do it. So I would recommend 100 products minimum. So for example, you can do it wholesale, buy it from a wholesale company to get low cost. You could go to Walmart and just accept that when it does sell, you won't make money. Or you in Yiwu, and this is one of the reasons we're going to Yiwu, guys. Yiwu is known for a really low MOQ, minimum order quantity. So instead of having to buy 500 for my first shipment, I can buy 2 boxes. Now it's going to depend. Some are going to require 5, some require only 1, and they call them cartons. So it depends on the product and the supplier, but you can get a really low MOQ. So you buy those, you send them into Amazon FBA, you start your ads, and your goal there is, let's just say I'll use the selfie stick as an example. You already know these are selling, but you still buy them. But you start finding keywords that are either complementary to this or even a whole new product, but still in the technology category. And so this over here ends up being the product that you launch. So you're really using it as a product research tool. In my mind, there's 3 ways to use PPC. 1 is to add complements to your bundle, like accessories. 2 is to build out new product lines. So Jesse, this would probably apply to you. You already have a product. You want a new line within that brand. Like it wouldn't be part of a bundle, but it'd be a new product that complements it, that fits with that brand. And then 3rd is to find a completely brand new product. It might be as crazy as this, guys. You're running ads on this, but you get a keyword that's about a clock. Like every now and then the automatic campaigns will bring in some really weird keywords, but you still look at the data because what it's doing is it's telling you what customers are searching. Does that answer your question, Tim?
Yeah, I think so.
Seth, I've got a question.
Yes.
When obviously going to Yiwu and looking for products, is there any particular category you would advise staying away from for our first trip?
It depends on your 4 main resources. So there are some people who start with technology, and they have a very strong technology department there in the Fujian marketplace. Technology always has greater risk because you have to get more certification, so there's no fire hazard. The chance of something breaking is greater. But however, if you know a lot about technology, this is your background, and you're not limited on capital, then you might compete in that because it's more risky, because a lot of other sellers aren't going to for that very reason. So it really depends on your strategy. But if you were to stay away from any, just trying to be as unrisky as possible, then I would go with really simple product. And I would niche down as much as I can. So for me, Mike, more important than the product category is how niche down within that category. So for example, if my product category is tea items and I'm selling tea dispensers, what if I was just selling the stand that this sits on so that when it drips a little bit, it doesn't get on the table or the floor? So in other words, the stand is a subcategory of the tea dispenser. The tea dispenser is a subcategory of of the broader category of tea. And that's one thing I love about Yiwu, guys, is you will find so many subcategories of products. It's almost ridiculous. Like you'll see things like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you could get that weird and that specific.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the other aspect of it for those who maybe you're really set on a specific product already, maybe you've done a lot of research into something, you're very keen on moving with that, then the other aspect to this is you could actually go and source a generic item of that product, and you're going to establish two things. One is you'll be able to find the sort of representative of a manufacturer of that product who you can later actually differentiate with, build out your perfect product with. And secondly, you're able to then obviously run the PPC on those generic products. So maybe you're not set on the color, maybe you're not set on the material to use or the size to source. And so the PPC is going to give you the data on really optimizing what to go with as your main product, and you have the contact as that main manufacturer as well. If that's more your strategy at this point, or you're really excited for a certain product you've already vetted as well.
It's a really, really good point, because it's like the umbrella, and that ties in Jesse's question, who said, if we already, should we also try to find lower price suppliers for existing products that we already sell? 100% yes. When we were in China last October, that's exactly what we did. We took the product that I was walking by, I thought, wait a minute, that looks familiar. Oh my goodness, that's a product. Just totally randomly ran into it. She handed it to me, asked her the price. It was ridiculously lower. And here's the reason. When you're buying from Alibaba or through Alibaba, there's a strong chance you are not working with the original factory, but an in-between person. They got great English. They communicate fast. Probably an indication it's not a supplier. If they only speak Chinese and they respond slowly, probably an indication it's really a factory. And I know that's frustrating, but that's how it is. So we were able to cut costs like crazy on that just because we showed up. And because we were there, they even gave us a better price when we ordered a really huge amount. So you guys being there is going to give you an advantage as well. They take you seriously. Think about it this way, guys. I'm sitting in a cubicle. I work for a trading company, or I truly work for a factory supplier, and I'm just answering questions all day. And a lot of the questions, and this is not to be derogatory in any way, are very inexperienced and amateur questions. And I can tell, oh, this person really doesn't know what they're doing. So what do? As a supplier, I just try to get a quick sale, get a quick sale, and make sure I make money, because I'll probably never hear about them again, because chances are that business won't succeed. They deal with that all the time. When you actually show up, they take you so much more seriously. And because you're going to be standing next to a sourcing assistant, that's even going to make them take you more seriously, because they speak Chinese. Now you have even more respect. You guys will love it. And they're extremely polite and respectful, and they'll work with you. One little tip: don't negotiate like crazy in the Yiwu market. Negotiate a little bit. Here's why. Let's just say you have 3 different shops, and they all sell baby products. They already know each other. They're probably friends, and they've already determined we're not going more than this price. So if you go to, Bob and say, hey, I want a better price. So you go over here to Sue. Okay, those aren't very good Chinese names, but you get the idea. Chances are they already know each other. They're not going to go lower. So you can always ask, but I would recommend ask once, and that's it. You don't want to over negotiate, because this is a unique market. Where you negotiate is when you buy huge orders, not the cartons, but the big orders. The cartons are already a ridiculously good price for that quantity. That's the advantage. But when you go in and say, hey, I just need 2 cartons as they are, they can usually often get them to you right then, or within like a week they can ship it, because it's in Yiwu. But if you're ordering a large order, or you're customizing the order, then their factory is in like Shenzhen or Guangzhou. It's another part of China, because this shop here it's like a sales shop for the supplier, which is a 3-hour or 1-hour train drive away. So in that case, they're going to contact their supplier, and they'll send you the order from there. See what I mean? So think about that. If you're going in to get customized stuff, you will talk to the actual supplier, yes, but it'll take longer, and you won't get it from Yiwu. You'll get it from where the real factory is. But if you're just getting cartons to test, like Dan was talking about, then you can order it quickly, and sometimes it'll actually be in Yiwu. You can literally take it home with you that day, or I mean, you could take it onto the plane with you, whatever, or they'll just ship it to you right out and you'll have it, you know, within a week or something if you're doing Air Express.
So I had a quick question, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, man.
Yes.
All right, so this is actually a noosh. It says Nodder because I'm on my Chrome Hangouts and a different account. So this is a noosh. How's it going, everybody? Just a quick question. I've already launched a product in the baby category. I'm not really attached to it. It's not absolutely crushing it. So when you're doing this initial product research, would you guys like focus on that baby niche, even though I'm not really, you know, connected to it or attached to it in any way, or would you kind of look around to other niches? Just kind of trying to get your input on that.
Sure. So I think this is it's a really good question as well, because I've actually turned 180 on this strategy. I used to really work on the numbers. So more or less, like you're saying, not being fully like emotionally invested in the one idea or the passion or the hobby that you're into. And just going on the numbers, what looks good, what meets the metrics, and is that going to sell well? And that often leads to a store that is kind of scattered in terms of products. So there's not an ideal customer that you sell to. It's just multiple items, multiple groups of customers. And nowadays, I think what we really need to start doing is whatever you choose, you need to have that ideal customer. So even if it's baby, you need to know who that customer is. So perhaps it's new moms in that case. And so you need to know that ideal customer either way. So I can't tell you exactly which category to focus on, but what I would say in your position, if you're not attached to baby, I would open your options, but then look for a brand you can build out. So look for a niche off of the first products. Let's say you find one high potential, look at that private label seller's store as well. What other products do they sell? Look at something we're going to touch on tomorrow is places off of Amazon. You can also look for product ideas. So looking at things like Etsy, looking at things like Instagram, using social media, using HSN, the Grommet, all these types of places to find new ideas. But the thing you want to do is make sure you have that ideal customer in mind. So you can build, 2, 3, 4, 5 products for that one customer, and your marketing plan is going to continue to work for that same customer base. Maybe you have repeat purchasing and you know where they are as well. So if you have even Facebook ads later, you can target them because you know who they are and where they are, and you can target them with that full product line. So that, I would say, is the biggest thing. And once you target them, once you know who they are, that's key, because then you can go look for, I was using an example earlier for a new fly fishing brand, super niche, but you can then go look on things like YouTube for, top 10 fly fishing products. You end up with like a list of 50 fly fishing products, and then you go apply these to your Amazon criteria, and then you choose the best ones. And then now you're going to China, you can narrow those further down and actually run PPC on the generics to choose which versions of those you actually start for your niche, if that helps. But I would try find that ideal customer if you can.
Awesome, great info, thank you.
I have a question.
Sue says, how can we know which keywords will be good for the future cost of PPC for any product we might consider? And I apologize, Sue, that I missed your question last time. So we can't. We don't know. There's no way of knowing what the future cost is going to be. But as a general rule of thumb, here's how PPC works. So if someone launches a whole new product type on Amazon, at the beginning, the keyword bidding is going to be really low because there isn't that many competition. But as more sellers enter that market, the cost of those bidding keywords goes up. This is why if you start with a product that's too low in cost, actually a lot more people can jump in quickly because it takes less capital to sell a product that sells for $12 versus $50. But that also puts you at risk because more people jumped in who are running PPC ad campaigns, the bidding price is going to go up because there's more people. Therefore, it costs more. It's more expensive oftentimes to advertise a low-cost product than an expensive one, ironically, which is even more difficult because now you already have less profit margin as a general rule of thumb on a less pricely item, and therefore that squeezes out your profit margin. So I'm going to chat you guys something that I think you'll find helpful. Give me one moment and let me see if it'll allow me to push this to various paragraphs. Give me 1 second. Okay, it didn't, but you can still see it. So if you guys can see the chat, and so this applies to what you're asking. If you find keywords that have a minimum of 1,000 impressions over a 10-day period, a minimum of 0.7% click-through rate, a maximum $2 cost per click for that keyword, and preferably over $1, preferably over $1, sorry, and then a minimum 50% advertising cost of sale. You want a high advertising cost of sale when you're doing product research, different than trying to sell. If you find keywords that match this criteria, there's a huge chance you not only found a product that there's little competition for, but maybe almost zero, because people are searching for it, but there aren't enough sellers. And so when the cost of a keyword is really low, it indicates one of two things. Either the demand is really low, or there's very little competition. You're looking for ones that have high impressions, but that cost per click is a maximum of 2. If it's under $1, that's even better, or under £1, that's even better. You see? So a lot of people searching, but not a lot of competition yet. And the advantage to this approach is if you're on Jungle Scout, Amazon, or any other tool, and this is not a person using the tools. I use these tools, Dan use these tools. But you're looking at products other people are already looking at. When you use PPC, there are very few people, to my knowledge, that are using this. Some that know about it because you have to launch a product to do it, right? Like Tim asked, can I do like a shell listing? As a result, you're getting data that very few people are looking at in the way you are. And by the time you launch, you're already way ahead versus you launched and all of a sudden 15 other sellers jumped in with you like, hey, nice to meet you. Great, and you don't want to run into that. So there's no way to predict it, but you can use PPC to predict where the market is going, if that's helpful, Sue. Is there anything you would add to that, Dan, or do you think I explained that clearly?
Yes, I think that's clear. The thing I noticed is exactly what you say. At like a lower priced item, we had one running at around $16.99 range, and it was really difficult with the PPC because that cost was eating up a lot of the net profit. And so I think this is a huge point, really important with the product research. And literally, if that cost per click, you need to account for it. If that cost per click is going to eat up the net, you need to make sure you can premium price or do not do that product, because you're going to end up with stock that you can't sell at a profit. And then I think you're going to need to look to advertise elsewhere. But the cost per click, as you touched on, really important. And there are some tools that will give like estimates of that. But PPC in general, I think, is becoming really expensive. So account for that in your cost and make sure you can, as you say, premium price. I would way rather go for a product $30 plus. In fact, I don't think I will go for a product again below $20, to be straight with you. I think $30 and up, you got the margin long term. So I would be looking to research products like that now, test those with PPC or Yiwu generics, and then move forward with a really good strategy to build out a brand.
Yeah. Carrie, I think you're saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you great.
Okay. Yes, I was wondering about the type of manufacturers that are Yiwu. Like, my impression was that they were more like the mum and pop sort of store rather than the big manufacturer. So can you help me with that? Like, if we got relationship and we like the product, would they be capable of doing the differentiations and the bigger orders?
Yeah, really good question. They look like the mom and pop. If you look at pictures online, they look like it, because when you walk in and let's say there's a store right here, it's about the size of a small bedroom, a small US bedroom. and you go in and the walls from the floor all the way to the top. Every wall is lined with products and shelving. Like the whole place is just, they don't waste a spot of retail in China, a spot of real estate or space. Yeah. So they look like that. Some of them are small factories. Some of them represent big, very, very big ones. It's really a mix. And that's the beauty of it, is when you go in, let's just say you're sourcing pet products, you'll find 6, 7, 8, maybe 12 different stores that sell pet products. And you can talk to them and understand, hey, okay, if I wanted to customize this, what would that look like? What if I want a different size? What if I want a different color? You can ask them right there on the spot. And this also applies to another question in the chat. How do you know they're not just giving you the best version of their product there, and then later when you order a big quantity, they send you a bunch of crap? Well, that's where I would use a sourcing agent. I would always have someone check that shipment. Even if it's a supplier I've worked with for a long time, I always have someone check the shipment, especially if it's a large one, just in case, because you never know. But so to answer your question, Carrie, they aren't mom and pop shops only. There are smaller factories, there are bigger factories. Some can do a little bit of customization, some can do massive. Because the way it works is you have all these factories in China on the east side, but then in Yiwu, a lot of those factories are paying to have a shop set up to represent their products in one place. So instead of having to take a train or drive for hours from one factory to the next, because they're different provinces, and each province tends to have its own material type, like textile or fabric or clothing or rubber or oil or whatever, not oil, metal or whatever, or plastic. It's like you can go to one place and talk to all of them quickly, but that isn't where the factory is located. There are some factories located in Yiwu, but very few. And the ones that are usually jewelry and smaller items like that. But the majority of them are not actually even located in Yiwu. That's just the shop where you get to talk to them and the employee of the factory, and sometimes a manager of the factory as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good questions, you guys. You guys keep asking. Anything we can help you with at all, especially in this research stage, getting prepared. Here's a tip I'll share with you guys. If I was in your shoes and you haven't launched a product yet, I would now start doing the research now. Watch the Find videos. Watch the videos we're bringing you. It's kind of cool. Dan and I right now are adding a bunch of videos to the Find section, new ones, fresh ones with the latest content that we have and different ways to research. Figure out, at least if I was in your shoes, what product category do I want to be in? Because when you're in Yiwu, then your sourcing assistant can take you to all the baby shops, all the pet shops. The kitchen is its own level. Like, it's huge. If you're into kitchen stuff, it's massive, you guys. It'll take you days just to get to that one part. But at least the more specific a niche you know you want, the easier it's going to be. And if you've already launched a product, then look for complements to that product line if you really are trying to build a brand. Because if you're thinking long-term, you can build a business that sells. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw on the post on the Passive Income Coaching Group, one of the Just One Time Warriors sold his business for over $600,000. He built it on Amazon, he turned around and he sold it. That's awesome. Another one did it for 500. No, the guy had 500,000 added value from Amazon. He did his for over $1 million. So I would think like that. What if I wanted to sell this business? That's the kind of brand we should be thinking about. But if we're just selling stuff on Amazon, I don't think we'll win.
Yeah, Seth, I love it. I think I'm so excited for this trip. I think it's going to be awesome. And I think I like Carrie's question as well. I think one of the things I am doing as well is doing the product research now. That's so important. Like, have a good idea. And then when you're there, at least with the manufacturer sort of representative or their store, you can choose variations, because you're going to get so many ideas not even available on Amazon yet. And then move forward with that in terms of testing and get those manufacturer details. But I think it's going to be an incredible trip. I'm really excited to go on it with all of you, and I look forward to meeting you guys.
Very fun.
I have another question, and this is, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, so if you're going to talk about this on another session, that's cool. But we mentioned some method to kind of help us organize ourselves while we're there and track what we're looking at. And I think you mentioned it was only an iOS thing, but can you talk about like the strategy there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working on a software that hopefully, and we're working on it, will allow you, when you're in the marketplace, you can actually go over and from your phone, currently we have it for iOS, trying to get it for other phone types as well. You can take a picture of the product, type in the amount, type in RMB. It will translate automatically from Chinese yuan to USD or to English pounds or whatever country you're selling in or from. So you have all the information there. Then you hit a button, exports it into a PDF, and you can email that to yourself because you get so much data. When we were in China and we met Lena, and she was our sourcing assistant, and that's when we ended up hiring her and says, hey, come work for Just in Time. We were walking around. She was writing everything into a notepad, and it was very organized and great. But then she would go home and type that in. Like, there's got to be a better, faster way to do this. So yeah, so we're working on it. So hopefully everyone, no matter what, will have access to that regardless of the phone type. At the worst, at the least, it would be a simple template you could use on a notepad on your phone or text edit or whatever you're bringing with you. But yeah, the idea is to be able to collect the information, add the photos, add all the details so you remember, because you're going to go back home, you'll forget unless you write it down. And
then following up with that, we find a number of products we want to order quantities of. Is my understanding correct that we're going to deal with our sourcing agent on that, and she's going to order all those kind of for us, and we were just paying one time, or are we paying each individual?
Yeah, good question. So you'll do that through your sourcing agent. You don't do that through Just One Dime. So you have access to an agent who can manage that whole process for you. That's not a Just One Dime product or service at this time. We're thinking it'd be cool, but we want to do it right. That's why we scaled back a lot on any a la carte services. And we're focusing on coaching, which is what we do best, and software, which we will do well someday. So yes, your sourcing agent will be a representative from a. So we're paying the sourcing agent to be there, and then if you order through them, you can do that through that company. So there will be multiple companies that can help you with that if you want. And then actually, that's such a great question, Tim. That ties into something else that Jesse asked, are you buying on the spot? So you can do the order right there. You can process that. Can you use Visa? It depends on the factory, the supplier, if it has international access. I've used it before. It works for me, but it depends on the supplier. Some accept it, some don't. And then they will ship it to you later after you get back home. If you're just getting a couple cartons, there are some people who literally pay for it on the spot and they take it with them right there. And you do have that option as well if you can arrange that with your flight and your luggage.
I have another follow-up, I guess, if no one else has one. You mentioned, I mean, I'm a very detail-oriented person. I keep thinking of small things. But this might be a stupid question, but what kind of dress code is recommended for, we want to present ourselves as and have them take us seriously? As if we're walking around in shorts and a shirt, is that something that's acceptable, or should we dress differently?
I'll tell you my experience. So one day I wore a pink shirt. It was a masculine pink shirt. But when I was walking around, Lena kept looking at me funny. And she's like, is this something wrong with the shirt? She's like, well, it's pink. I was like, she goes, men never wear pink in China. So everyone wears dark clothing there. Well, I shouldn't say everyone, most people, darker clothing. So if you want to blend in with the culture better, wear just one dime t-shirt. Wear a gray t-shirt or a darker t-shirt. But yeah, as far as the dress code, you could wear, I wore cargo shorts, which are my favorite because they have a lot of pockets. So I can put stuff in there like protein bars so I can eat as I go because I'm always hungry, or a water bottle. And then you could wear sandals or shoes and a t-shirt. It's fine. People don't dress up. Even the suppliers themselves are wearing very casual clothing. I'd say probably over 50% of the people, probably over 80% are wearing pants, some kind of dress pants or jeans. Jeans are very common in China. So yeah, good question. I never looked at it that way, but I'm really glad you asked it, man. Yes, a masculine pink shirt, Angela. Good questions. Is that a customs issue normally if we put samples in our luggage? If it is anything, so when we came back through China, the one thing I was worried about was tea. We went to a tea shop and I got loads and loads of this awesome, awesome tea, like from the fields of China where they harvest this stuff. And I was concerned that they were going to say something and I had to fill out a form, and no issues in customs going through China. Coming back into the US, same thing. There were no issues at all, even though it's technically a organic product. So that itself was probably risky. if it's something you put in your body or on your body, if it's liquid or wet, its chances of getting stuck in customs is much greater. If it's wood, don't even try wood. It's very hard to get wood out of China because they're worried about bugs and things like that coming back into the US. I don't know about England. I haven't imported into England, so I couldn't tell you. So good question. So yeah, I would just, the more innocuous the product is, the safer you are.
So I know we have more training coming tomorrow and the next day, but I'm like fired up and I'm ready to jump in. So would you guys just start messing around with these tools, or what's something that we can hop on like tonight to start moving in the right direction, or what would you guys jump on? Just curious.
Dan, you want to start with this one, brother?
Yeah. So the Seth and I actually been doing this all weekend. We just finished, I think, 20 videos in like pretty short time. So there's a whole lot. I've just got to think what would be the best to start. But as we upload those over the next couple of days, they'll be fully up. They're complete. And then you can choose which strategy is going to work for you best, because there's all different types, brand types, a new Europe-wide type of strategy if you're looking to sell in Europe. And then obviously your more normal strategies using a Mazer, using keywords, and then using bestseller lists manually on Amazon. So the starting point is really just the toughest one, and you're just going to have to test those and see what works best for you. But what I would say, if you have no idea of what you're looking for, I would perhaps consider doing like a product database search using a tool like a Mazer product database, and then get some insight into good markets and figure out the niche, what niches are becoming clear to you. And then I would go and actually look on social media, on other platforms, for a big list of those products. Using a brand approach, we're looking for a big list of products that one type of customer buys. And then I would vet all of those through our Amazon criteria and break that list down piece by piece. But that's the type of strategy I think I'd be looking for if I had no idea what market I was going to enter into, because product database is going to narrow it down. What's selling really well on Amazon now. The niche will then be broken down, or the products that niche's customer buys will be broken down on those top 10 lists, etc. And then you can narrow down straight from there. But
this is what Dan's talking about. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
This is it. The product database he's talking about. It requires a paid version of Mazer. If you got one of the annual membership bundles with just $1, you probably already have access to it. But this is a filtered list. Basically, these products already have massive potential. And what I love about this, check this out. I'll share with you guys a really quick, super cool hack you can do. If you go with reviews, right here, the stars, and you say a maximum of 3. In other words, I don't want any product that has better than 3-star reviews. Now, why would I do that? But it actually is selling at least 15 times a day, because that tells me it has great demand even though the reviews stink, which means if I can find out why those reviews are negative, I can build my product and fix the problem potentially. Now, some products are inherently more difficult to fix because of expectations, like clothing. It's very difficult. But there's so much you can do with this tool, and it's already a filtered list. You're not starting from a clean slate. You're starting with products that have already had at least one screening level, so to speak, of vetting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and as Dan mentioned, guys, we have a ridiculous amount of videos about to come out. You guys will have access to them. How to search by keyword, how to search by product, how to use a Mazer, how to search by bestsellers list, how to search Europe-wide, how to use PPC. Like it's a little crazy. If you're overwhelmed, let us know. We can help you. But at the end of the day, guys, if you really want to break it down simple, in my mind, there's 3 things. You want products that have super high demand, lower competition, and they're differentiable. If they're differentiable, it's easier to protect your brand and build a brand and keep other people from hijacking your listing before your brand gated. So high demand, low competition, differentiable. In other words, it's not just, oh, look, everyone else is selling tea dispensers. I just stuck my logo on it. That's what private label used to be. It doesn't work anymore. My product needs to be so much better than this one I mean, here's another way of looking at it, guys. If what cleans my teeth? How do I keep them white? Toothpaste and floss. Those are two different products, but they do the same thing. What's funny, if you go run a PPC ad on either of those, a lot of the keywords are the same. So you could even find a product that has massive demand and competition, but you think of a different way of solving the same problem. And floss and toothpaste, they don't exactly say the same problem, but at the end of the day, it's the same problem. I want clean teeth, right? So it's a different actual product, but I already, just imagine floss didn't come out yet. We come up with the idea of floss. But I know there's a huge demand for teeth cleaning because people like white teeth. But we find a different way to do it. Instead of having a better toothbrush, we come out with floss, a brand new product. Yet it de-risks me because I know the demand is already there because PPC ads tell me that. You see what I mean? So there's so many ways you can think about this. But if the demand is high, the competition is low, and the differentiability opportunity is massive, that is the fastest way to move towards a product that will make you money. And it's not just sitting there on Amazon and you're waiting for it to move for months. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me in my baby product. I launched, I guess you could call it a Me Too product, and so it's selling slowly. But the thing is that I'm like, I see this guy that launched right around the same time as I did, and he differentiated just massively, and he's ranked on the first page, absolutely crushing it. And I'm like, all I had to do was change 2 things or just a couple tweaks, and potential for me being on the first page, absolutely crushing it with this first product would be there. But you know, live and learn, and I'm just gonna keep pushing. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys. Glad to have you here, man. Super cool. Yeah.
So, going back to the product research, let's say before we go, I realize I'm going to sell this calculator, and I know how I'm going to differentiate it. So when we get to Yiwu, am I looking to buy products that I can then, calculators that I can then put out to run the PPC campaigns to see what else people are looking for, to find other products that might complement it? Is that where we're going?
Precisely. That's exactly where you're going. And as Dan mentioned, the generics. So in Yiwu, you're not going to look for I'm trying to think of a subcategory of calculator or specific, a plastic, digital, you know what I mean? You're just looking for a basic calculator, because the more broad it is, the more keywords are going to show up under your automatic campaign and under your manual broad match, where you drop in long tail and a few short tail keywords. Those are going to generate more keywords that aren't that product. So for example, Mark, just imagine you run that ad, okay? And I need to think of a better, I'll just call it a number counter, okay? So I'm looking for a number counter, and it's a different than your product, but it's similar. So number counter actually comes up in your PPC ad campaign, and you notice it's getting a lot of impressions, which means the search volume is high. And then let me add as a side note, no software has search volume on Amazon. No software. I know software claims to be. It's a smart marketing move, but it's not fair. It's not true. Amazon doesn't release the data unless they're getting it from PPC ads. Well, this is the beauty of PPC. If the PPC has high impressions, like the data I just chatted you guys, the impressions are really, really high. That's telling me there's a lot of people searching. It keeps coming up when someone searches something related, or they search that, it keeps coming up. And then if I look at the cost per click and it's really low, like let's say 67 cents or $1.19, that means a strong indication it isn't saturated yet. So I take that data, I put it together, and I realize, wait a minute, this is a product that there's a lot of demand for, no one's selling. Now, if I took that product and I dropped it into Jungle Scout or Amazon, it would not show up its potential. Why? Because there aren't enough competitors. Because Amazon and Jungle Scout and all the software tools, I'm not saying they're bad, they're good, but they're not getting their data from PPC. They're getting it from competitors who are already selling, who are already starting to saturate the market. It's like you're getting ahead of the competition. See? That's how you do it. And that's the technique we're going to take you guys through. We're bringing our best coaches, and we're going to sit in a room every night after we source, and we're going to teach you guys how to do this step by step and show you. So you guys, our goal, you guys, is not just you have a cool trip to China, but we are convinced that's going to happen anyways. Our goal is that you guys are already launching products or know what you're going to launch by the time you get home. Like, you're already getting the data. You're applying it as we go right there in China at the Marriott Hotel, so that you guys can continue. And then we're going to have a follow-up meeting after the trip to meet with you guys again to see how it's going. And so we can get better at making sure these trips are really providing the value you need so you can crush it.
Awesome,
I'm excited. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, Seth. And I was thinking just on your question there, Seth, why don't we actually just quickly outline criteria for that database?
Sure.
Like right now, that would really work for everyone if they want to go right now and look for products, because that's always changing over time. I think that'll, before the videos even go.
Yep, absolutely, man. I can do it. And guys, this is also going to be in the training, but I'll give it to you guys right now so you can use it. Let me see if I have one screenshot of every. Okay, so I'll just tell you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. So do you want to type it in the chat as I go, Dan? Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay. Top competitors generate at least $120 per day each. So and I'm talking about the .com market, you guys. So top competitors generate at least $120 a day each.
Okay. Let me just put this in the other chat box.
Okay. And then 10 plus sales per day each for each top competitor. So again, if you're looking at competitors, make sure they have at least 10 sales a day each. And guys, when I say a top competitor, they're doing around 15 sales a day or more. Now it's going to depend. If you're in supplements category, 10 sales a day is not that amazing. But if you're in handmade goods, it's really amazing. So this is a general rule of thumb, a guidance for, you know, over 70% of the category. So 10 plus sales a day for each top competitor. Just let me know when you're ready, Dan.
Yeah, I'm noting all of these down, and then we'll put it into the chat straight after.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then 3 to 20 strong competitors. 3 to 20. Keep in mind, if you pull up, if you search a keyword on your phone browser, you're going to get about 14 to 15 results. If you search it on your computer browser, you're going to get about 20 results on the first page. But if you go into Amazon's app, it's infinite. It just keeps, you know, loading. But as a general rule of thumb, 3 to 20 competitors. And the next one is a selling price minimum of 15. But be careful. Would only launch a product at that low if you guys have really good 40% minimum profit margins and extremely differentiable. And then a maximum of around 100. So we'd give a range of 15 to 100. That's the selling price. And then the top competitors have a low review count. In other words, by low, we mean if you took all of them and lined them up from the least to the most, the middle one would have no more than 500 reviews. Another way to look at it is if you took 4 of your top competitors, they wouldn't have more than 50 to 100 reviews. One of the easiest ways to fix the review challenge is probably one of the biggest challenges that keeps coming up for people. Number 1, differentiate, so you're not leaning on reviews too much. Number 2, don't launch a product where all the competitors have a massive amount of reviews. Even if you just have 10, it looks really minuscule. And then the next one, are you still with me, Dan, or am I going too fast, brother?
No, I got it.
Okay, next one is consistent price history. Next one is less than half of the top competitors are the same brand. Less than half of the top competitors are the same brand. That means there's no brand loyalty. You want to know that the top competitors, that the sales are spread out. If there's just 2 people dominating the market, that's a flag. I would be careful. And then there's 2 more. The second to last is profit minimum of $8 per sale. And again, this is a general rule of thumb, guys. It's not like if it's $6, you can never do it. Just you don't want it to get so low that you have to sell thousands to make any decent capital, and a margin of 40 to 50% profit margin before PPC ads. Before PPC ads. So after you, and we're not talking about operating expenses, we're talking about gross profit, not net. So after you take away your cost of building it and supplier shipping and that, you still have 40, 50% profit margin because you're dividing the profit based on the sale price equals your profit margin. It gives you still room for your PPC ads. And then finally, last but not least, is the differentiation potential is massive. In other words, you found a way to make that clock a lot better. It's not just a cool logo. You actually either looks better or it is better. And that's perceived value, looks better, is better, real value. I'll share a really quick encouraging story with you guys. We did an interview. Some of you guys saw it, some of you didn't. We did an interview with, I believe his name was Andrew. He's a multi-million-dollar seller on Amazon. He coaches people. Their team coaches people and helps them with branding. And they talked about this guy who decided to sell a kitchen knife, and it was already super saturated. The only thing he did is he got a little wooden box. He got some straw. Looks really nice packaging. Put a knife in the box with the straw. Yes, it cut into profit margin, and he sold it, and he's crushing it. And the reason is because he increased the perceived value. Just the look of the box caused people to sell. Dory, just when I remember, he added the color black to his product. His sales tripled and quadrupled. All we did was add the color black. Didn't cost him a thing. These are examples of perceived value differentiation in order to make your product stand out. But we'll go into this deeper later. Dan, is there anything else, brother, you want to share before we close it up?
Oh, I think that's everything. I have the list here, and then would you mind just posting this to the chat, because I'm not on that account right now.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm going to post this for you guys. So as you're searching, one of you guys asked, what do I do now? You can literally start using this criteria to get a really good idea of a potential product. And guys, we'll walk with you on this process. So each time you guys come back, sorry, it's a little bit bunched together. It's not, that's weird. Oh, it's because I get it. It's too many characters. Give me 1 second, you guys. I have to do this in 2 chunks. Guys, do all the researching you can so that when you come back tomorrow, we can answer questions for you that you're running into. Okay, there's one, and I'm going to give you the rest. Let me just separate each one so it's easier to read. And there you go. Cool. All right, awesome. Well, hey, everyone, I hope this has been really helpful. Thank you, Dan, for bringing this content, and everyone, thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys again. Some of you again, some of the first time, and I will see you in a few weeks.
Yes, thank you very much, Seth, and nice seeing everyone here.
Take care, guys. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow.
Bye.